Good evening. This is Dipankar Khashnabish. Welcome to yet another episode of COVID Cares, hosted by Heartcrafted Foundation. Heartcrafted Foundation works with the women who are in the underprivileged segments of the society, essentially work with them to do specific interventions in their work's life cycle so that their productivity and income improves over a period of time. Large part of the work of this foundation right now is in the eastern and the northeastern part of the country. COVID Cares is an attempt to chronicle some of the stories of ordinary individuals who have done extraordinary work during COVID. We all know that when the lockdown happened in March, we all got into a TC. We were very worried. Most of us were worried about our own life, our own food supplies. Quite a few of us possibly looked at the problem of the migrants, the urban poor. We have also seen people who have looked at the rural poor and then tried to help in whichever way they could. And there are hundreds and thousands of stories of such help, which gives us a lot of confidence about the future of the country. One segment which probably we did not think much about, but slowly came to know was the industry, and especially the MSME sector, medium, small, and micro enterprises. As you all know, there is a cap below which a organization is classified as MSME, which is as per revenue. So given the fact that they operate at a lower level of revenue, there is always this challenge of production, market access, working capital. And you also know that MSME sector in the country has been somewhat struggling because of two large decisions which has happened. One was demonetization and the GST implementation. On the top of that, COVID happened, and immediately there was a complete lockdown where there was no access to market, no access to raw materials, credit, most of the times no access to labor. Many MSME segment players actually took an easy way out. They just told their temporary workers that their job is not there from very next day, and that's why we saw so many people walking on the streets. They asked other employees that we'll cut your salary, we can't guarantee your jobs, and they of course went back on many of their promises. But there is a significant segment of people in this industry segment who actually, in spite of grave challenges, in spite of cash flow challenges, in spite of market challenges, actually lived up to their commitments and tried their best to ensure that employees are protected, their salaries, jobs are protected, that their customers are not short-charged, that they make the best of paying back to their suppliers, essentially taking care of all the stakeholders. So today we are talking to one of them who runs such an organization. We are talking to Sunil Kapoor. Now, Sunil is a founder and director at the IFA Steels Private Limited, based out of Delhi, Kochi, and Kolkata. He's also the partner of Acer Kapoor Sons and proprietor at the Kapoor Ware Industries. Sunil established the manufacturing business in steel reinforcing weld ware fabrics all over India, and he's actually operating for over 3 decades now, with 3 manufacturing units and 1 trading unit based out of Delhi and Kochi, and distribution all over India and outside India also. Sunil did his BTech in mechanical engineering from IIT Kharagpur in 1986. Sunil is, even otherwise, he's a good friend. I know him for many years, and he's very much active in the alumni affairs of the college. That is what I know. That is how I know his golden heart, and in the community activities, and of course the industry. But that is the story really we are going to hear from him today, straight from the horse's mouth. So Sunil, welcome.
Hi. Thank you, Dipankar, for speaking.
Yeah. So Sunil, just want to hear, essentially on your behalf as well as on behalf of industries like you, who are not so big, not so small, but obviously got caught in a big logjam from cash flow perspective, suppliers not paying, market is closed, your laborers, especially the talented laborers stuck at home, struggling to pay. But then at the same time, you want to save their, obviously you want to care for them as human beings as well as skill. And then this whole thing of unlocking, how to unlock, how to make it safe. Now, when all this happened, I'd like to hear from you, how did you, how did you first react to the situation? How did you proceed? What are the things you prioritized and what are the actions you took, starting from March? Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Dipankar, when this pandemic struck and there was a lockdown from 22nd of March,
Right.
there was a sort of a total shock.
Mm-hmm.
And when this happened, my employees were extremely worried that what is going to happen, how long is this lockdown going to remain, and what will happen to our wages over time, and how will we run our families and all. So my first thoughts were about my employees because my when I established my organization, the principle that I thought of was that my employees will be the first priority.
Mm-hmm.
So keeping that in mind, that employees first, I had decided on 23rd March only that come what may, I will not allow my workers to be affected financially or psychologically in any way from this pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So when there was this lockdown, first lockdown was I think for 21 days and then it got extended. So I visited my factory initially first day, and then I told them that no matter what will happen, and also through telephones, I told them later that whatever happens, you will get your wages and salaries on the 31st of the month, no matter what. The full salary you will be getting. There is nothing to worry. You be where you are. The finance part will be taken care of. And if there is any other problem, please call me. I am here for you. And you need not get into any state of panic. So
Mm-hmm.
that reassured them
Mm-hmm.
to a lot of desired extent, because all the foremen used to tell me that now the workers, they are very reassured and they are where they are. Nobody is moving. And 31st of March, we made the full payment. And then this lockdown went on, and then it extended. It was extended in April, I think, third week for another, say, 3 weeks. So the people, the workers, they kept calling me that my family in the village, they are locked down. Because of lockdown, many people have started walking back home. They will, there are problems with landlords, and salaries are not being paid. You don't know how long. So I said that as far as my staff and my workers are concerned, you need not worry at all. Please wait till the lockdown is over. Then you are very free to go home whenever you want. But at this point of time, you please stay and follow the government regulations. And as far as your financially and psychological thing is concerned, we are here. It is like an extended family. I've always told my workers that you all are and your families are part of my extended family. And this is the benefit of being a small scale industry, that we can know each and every person, and of course all their families also. And it is not just that they work for us. Whenever they get into any of the problems of life, they come to me, and I have always kept my doors open for each individual worker. I've said that there is no chain of command in my units. I am there all the time. I am traveling between my units, and whenever you are having an issue, you can walk to my room and you can talk to me, and I will sort out the problem. If whatever is possible, I will do. So they were very in a very peaceful state of mind. And what happened was, when the second lockdown got over, then what happened was, on 2nd of May or 3rd of May, the government started allowing the industry to start on with all the protocols. So when that happened, I was one of the first in Delhi to start my unit, because I had 100% staff there in my factory. Nobody went. So
Mhm.
that was one advantage. So what happened
Mhm.
was, by around 10th of May, with all the due precautions and all, with all keeping all the precautions like what you call temperature and all the cleanliness and all the sanitation and all, with all the protocols, I started my unit on 10th of May. All the three of my units in Delhi,
Mhm.
and you will be happy to note that in the month of May, we could do 90% of our month on month turnover in terms of volume and in
Mhm.
terms of value.
Mhm.
And in the month of June, we did 100%
Mhm.
in terms of value and volume in terms of sales. And in July, I myself I'm surprised that my workers are working so hard. Maybe they have that feeling of paying back, because they have seen what has happened to the units and the workers who were outside, and they were the neighbors in the industrial areas. What has happened to them, and compared to them, they are well off or whatever. They are working so hard that this in the month of July, we did 130% in terms of volume and value. And in August, we have done almost 50% more, 150% in terms of volume and value in turnover in my steel products business. And this is, I think, one of the biggest rewards of our family bond.
Mhm.
I feel so.
So Sunil, this is one interesting point which you actually said. You obviously said that I will pay you for March, and then you paid for April with zero, obviously no income. And I'll come to that. Obviously, this is a lot of other people did it also because they are very poor managers. Let's put it that way, because it's not just, obviously there are intent, but some are so badly managed their finance. I'm sure they ran out of money themselves quickly, or they were not in a position. Now, there's something which is very interesting, which you brought in, that your if I may say, for lack of better words, your investment of March and April actually has, though it was not intended, but actually has helped you to, restart. You said you did 90% in 10 days. So if it would have been, if you would have been all 30 days, maybe you would have made 135%. So all 3 months, you're actually
Yeah,
producing much.
90% in 20 days,
Oh,
because I
90% of
started on May 10th.
okay. So anyway, so that's you, because you needed some time to start and all that. So people who have taken, in spite of having capacity, who have taken this very short-term view that this is a opportunity to cut some cost, actually probably may have lost much more, because
Right.
their production could not be started for months, and because they got some labor who are not trained, who doesn't know, and all of that, right? So
Yes.
that opportune mindset might have cost people more than what they could save, right? I mean, that's a bad decision, even in financially,
True.
right? Not
Yes.
from the human perspective. Now tell me about this, that, Sunil, I'm sure that, you could do this because you're maintained a healthy balance sheet and stuff like that. But how did your, you talked of so much production. So how did you manage? One is your raw materials, so inputs. And was the market also ready to absorb such production, or you just
Yes.
stocked it for future? So
Yes.
yeah, tell me something about the macro stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. As far as the capital and finances are concerned, one of the benefits of running your own small industry or medium scale industry is that you can work with your own surplus and
Mm-hmm.
manage your surplus in such a way that you keep certain amount of finance for exigencies, and you are not dependent on loans. So, in my policy right from the beginning was that uh, we will not work with loans and funds as far as possible. We will work with our own surpluses. So what happened was, from the very beginning, I was a trading entrepreneur for 6 years in Kochi in Kerala, and then I set up my manufacturing units. So during that time, I generated the capital that was needed to run the manufacturing unit of which I intended. And from that point onwards, my policy was that I will not depend on the institution. I will depend on my own self, and I will expand slowly but surely. I will not go for big expansion. I will rather remain small and move incrementally as I generate more funds. If I generate more funds for a 5 year period, if I have certain surplus and I feel that I can set up another manufacturing unit, then I will go for the next unit. Until then, I will wait. So this was my strategy for 30 years. And that has paid up in this pandemic when suddenly everything was shut down. So I was not in such a condition that I had to depend on others, or I had to spend sleepless nights. What will happen to the fund? How much? When will I be able to pay back and all? So there was that cushion. So I managed that. As far as raw material is concerned, my factory had the raw material for 1 month when we shut down. We always keep 1 month raw material in all the units. So when I started, there was a 1 month's raw material. So within that 1 month, things started opening up. Interstate trade. Most of my raw material comes from Himachal Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. So things started moving, and by that time, I started getting my supplies. And the other part is that the workers' part, as far as they are concerned, they were very happy that they were better off than their co-workers in the other units, and they really put their heart and soul, and that they were always doing in my case, because my policy was always that if you want to get quality in your organization, your product, if you have to maintain quality, consistency of the product, then you must have senior employees. The employee turnover must be low in your industry, especially the shop floor. So for that, you have to keep them as a family. You have to keep all their problems as your own, take their issues as your own and solve it. And they will definitely return it in terms of their seniority. When they're working on the shop floor on the same machine for years, then you develop a proficiency which ultimately results in quality, and also the family, the mahal, the environment also. So all these things, three things combined to help me put my factories back on its feet after the pandemic and the lockdown started easing.
So the market was also ready to,
one more thing. Yes. You had spoken about one more thing, that is the market. How I handle the market. The market, in my case, is steel reinforcing welded wire meshes. So these welded wire meshes are used for construction, for reinforcing the floors and the roofs and the basements and various other construction purposes, and also in terms of general purpose uses like gabions for stopping the landslides, and also gabion, and also for poultry, for fencing and all.
Put that
so
on the side.
And my items are basically linked to the essential requirements like food. So as soon as, if there is a requirement for food, that is what I have been witnessing for the past 32 years, that if there is a requirement of food items, similarly is the requirement for the steel items, like Tor steel. That is also a part of the essential commodity required by any economy. So when the economy starts moving, and the government also on their part to generate employment, the short-term employment due to the loss of job, first thing they did was to push the road construction, and the construction sector, they pushed the government construction. So when the government construction started, naturally there was requirement for these products that we make. And in my case, I always supply. I don't supply directly to the government. I supply through distributors who are very well off, very solid. Like every city has 2-3 of my distributors, or every Indian city, and I moved through them. So they were also not that badly off. So the orders started flowing in, and I started fulfilling them. Interstate trading started, and things got normalized.
Okay. So you are sort of a relatively sweet spot. Let me put it that way. That at least you are in industry which is, both sides, from your market side as well as from the need side. you were sort of protected. Of course, you were thankfully ready with your production. Otherwise, nothing would have been
Yeah,
because if you would have lost your employees, you would have struggled.
yeah,
So
correct.
Sunil, I know that you have always been, from my personal, interaction also, you are always very socially active, and this, for especially for IIT, you have done quite a bit of work on for the hall, and this unique thing of raising fund for the mess workers. Tell a little bit about that. I mean, that made a lot of news nationally. Even Narendra Modi has retweeted and stuff
Mm.
like that. So tell a little bit about that model and what did you do?
Yeah. So when there was this lockdown, complete lockdown, we came to know of this worrying news from our institute that the contract workers who were working in the hostels, because of the closure of the hostel, uh, all these contract people were left without job, and of course they were since they were being paid by the contractors, they were without any pay and they were really in dire straits. So this worried us to a large extent. And what happened was this: some churning happened in the alumni community, and there was this plan of hosting a quiz competition, online quiz competition over Zoom, which was broadcast real time on YouTube also, so that people can watch and the alums can watch all over the world, and there will be an inter hostel competition, first intra hostel quiz and then inter hostel quiz, and in that entire process, a lot of pledging will happen, and when those pledging will happen, those pledges will be converted to donation, and donation will be going to the for the benefit of these contract workers and the other hall workers who have been badly affected by the closure. So what we went for it, in addition to this, our hall, that is my hall and your hall, Patel Hall, we did something else. Our team, which was managing this, we decided that no, we will not give the funds, ultimately disperse the fund to the institute, but we will find a way to send this money over to the individual hall workers' bank account, so that there is absolutely no chance of there being any delay or they having any problem regarding getting their money. So what happened
No,
was
I just
that
projecting the event
yeah,
for people to
yes,
get a
yes,
sense.
yeah, this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So what happened was that because we had some experience in renovation of the mess, our dining hall, the common room, TV room, library, and all. So we had been doing it for 5 years. So we had some experience of how to manage that fund flow. So we tried to do something better this time. So we used that experience, our Patel Hall team, to manage to send the money across to around 71 workers. There were around 71 hall workers who were out of work. So we took all their account numbers and their everything details, and through the mess, our hall warden, he was our go-between, and of course the hall presidents and the council there. We took the help of their good offices and got all the details from them. And then we came to know that there are systems like fund aggregators who take the money and then they take the account numbers and then they take the input and then distribute as per the desire of the donators. So we found out one such aggregator, and then we collected money from all over the world. Our alumni are spread out all over the world. Around 40% of the money came from the US, around 55% came from the Indian sources, and 5 to 10% from other sources, from other areas of the world. And then we collected it in, and there was a process. And when the pledges were ready, there was a day when the fund aggregator mailed the pledges that this is the time you must disburse. So we disbursed the fund to the aggregator, and then what happened, within 72 hours, the aggregator, as per their commitment, they disbursed the funds to the accounts which were already had been intimated to them, to the aggregator. And finally we got the confirmation of the funds having received from the good offices of our warden, that each and every mess worker whom we had planned to pay have received the money in their accounts. We collected, and we ultimately, we got collected around, for each worker we disbursed equally, say around some 14 15 14,000 13 14,000 rupees per head, which came to around 2 months salary at Kharagpur, what they used to receive. So and they were all very happy, and this is how we managed this process, and it gave us immense satisfaction that we could finally
Right.
we could reach them where it mattered most.
Hmm. So I'll just present this, this page, which you can see. This is
Yeah,
absolutely amazing stuff. Which probably quite unique, right? That organizing a sort of a quiz online with various batches joining in with the honor code that they will not Google, right? And
yeah.
everybody following. And coming back to this particular point of 15,000, which given the fact that in Kharagpur, most of these people are staying in the adjoining area in their own place, and it's a much lower cost location compared to
Yeah.
the. So that is a extremely you know it's significant amount of money. And also instead of going through the institute and then not knowing that whether how it is reaching, when it is reaching, and all that. This whole model of doing it directly was something of amazing. So fantastic stuff. So Sunil, good. I mean, this is something to, I was really very uh, uh, happy to hear that, you could tell the people upfront that we will protect you, and you also gave them the full salary for the month of April, which I think is, there are a lot of people, as I said, who sort of ensured that jobs are there, but the salary cut has been rampant. Let's put it, a lot of
True.
people cut maybe 10%, 20%, whatever, but protection of salary 100% in the month of April is an exception. And that's probably, in a way, as you said, that they are also highly energized and trying to give back that whatever 100 we have not been able to, we didn't produce, but we got the money, so let's give back. You don't know how people's mind work, but nothing
Yeah.
better than energized and engaged employees, right? That can do wonders.
Yes.
And so nice to talk to you. Anything else you would like to, any particular incident, anything which is etched in your mind, where something which really touched your heart? It need not necessarily be about your work. During the COVID times, or people's,
Yes.
dignity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, the thing which touches me most is when my employees, they
Mm-hmm.
come to me and have, when I am disbursing salaries, and some other time also when they come to me and when we speak, when these my workers, when they tell me that my daughter is now a graduate and she is now working in this IT firm. When my son is has joined the army. When I came, I did not have land. I did not have. I just had a hut in my village. Now I have purchased so many cents of land in my village with the money that I have earned from here, sir. I am. We are going to work here. I mean, if you I have never dismissed any of my employees. I believe in reform and not what do you call condemnation. But they say that, sir, if we will go up from here, we will go back to our villages. We are not going to work anywhere else. So when they tell us all these things, then that is my, I feel that I have really paid back to a very minute extent to what I always tried when I was cycling around the, that center circle of IIT's building, where it was written dedicated to the service of the nation. And that is which inspired me to become an entrepreneur, to pay back in terms of employment and taxes. But more than that, I feel very satisfied when I feel that my small enterprises have managed to raise the lives of the village people, to the extent that their children are now white collar, and they are studying in universities, and they are self-dependent, and they have progressed in life. So that is what gives me maximum satisfaction.
Absolutely. No, this is as they say, right? In the professional life, there's no better job than creating jobs. In social life, there's no better job than making one person successful. Even if you can make one successful. And today I was hearing that in personal life, even if you, make, somebody, I think Ravish Kumar was saying somewhere that zindagi mein ek hi kaam kar lo, dahej mat lo, So it all adds up,
Exactly.
right? I mean, it
Correct.
all adds
All
up.
adds
If you take care of, say, 200 people, and if 200 people
Yes.
take care of 200 people, then it becomes, 4,000, and that becomes 20,000 people are having a better life, right? So I don't know your employee, but I'm just saying that, it's a multiplier
Yeah.
effect, and
Yeah.
that's exactly the purpose for which, we are trying to do this. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time, and it is always
Thank you,
pleasure.
Dipankar, for having
And
me. It was a pleasure. Always, it is a pleasure chatting with you, and more so over Zoom. Thank you
on
so
a
much.
Zoom. Thanks. Take care. Good night.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe.
Good night.
Bye.
See you. Bye.